coming along to this talk this afternoon. Basically, what we're going to be doing this afternoon in a short 20-minute period is just looking at different ways of handling your baby to optimise physical development and also to prevent or try and prevent any problems with your baby's head, which is something that can happen from sleeping your baby in one position on its back. So basically, it's really important, and as you all know, it's so important that all babies spend a little bit of time each day on their tummy just to get their head and neck muscles developing. The other thing that happens as well, as you know, with the SIDS information, is that we are no longer, and it has been in for a long while, able to sleep our babies on our tummies, and we have to sleep our babies on their backs. And with the introduction of those SIDS guidelines, over time, physiotherapists have found that babies weren't really attaining the milestones that they needed to attain because they just weren't getting that time anymore of being on their tummy because we were so scared at any time then to put babies on their tummy. So, and the other problem that was arising was that we're starting to notice babies are starting to get flattened heads as well. And not a good thing. Not so much of a problem if you're a girl because you've got hair that can grow over. But if you're a little boy, it could be a bit of a problem later on in life. So this talk today is going to be looking at a few little strategies for that. So basically, with sleeping babies on their backs, it's really important that they spend time, you know, with the baby's head just in the neutral position, with it straight on their back, like this, and also, you know, with the head to the right and also head to the left. So each time you put your baby down to sleep, you want to be thinking of changing the head position a little bit so that you get that even pressure going through the head at different times. It's something that you need to be aware of really early on, because even as early as 6 weeks old, they can be starting to get a bit of head flattening. So it's something from the moment they're born that you really need to be aware of and that you need to be thinking about. Some babies in particular really do tend to favour one side when they're sleeping as well. So you may find that no matter what you do, you may put your baby down and their head to the right, and every time you go back, their head's facing the left. So there are strategies then that you can implement to try and correct that, because that really could cause problems, particularly with the head flattening later on. So we've got a few little babies here. This isn't what they look like when they come out. They're not this big. This is about the size of about a 12-month-old baby here. But if I could just have like a couple of volunteers just to have a baby, there's a little present involved with this as well. So we're going to be looking at a few strategies. So we've got a couple of babies here. Got 2 more, or 1 more actually. Who would like to be the lucky third person? Yeah, okay, great. So from early on, what you can do, there's a few things obviously that you can look at just to try and prevent that head moulding or the head flattening. And that's, as I said, just changing the position that they're sleeping in. Changing the side of the cot that they're in. So every time you put your baby down, you know, you may put your baby's head up, you know, in one end of the cot, and then the next time turn it around. So if you've got bright toys or mobiles or something that they tend to look at, just turn your baby around in the cot so that you're encouraging that head to turn. Approaching your baby from different positions, and also carrying and handling positions can make a really, really big difference. So one of the first ways that you can help to strengthen up your baby's muscles in their neck, which is then going to mean that they're going to be able to turn their head very easily, it's going to encourage that normal development, is just how you pick up your baby. So if all these baby holding people with your babies, if we can just get them just pretending that they're on their back to start with. So one way, or the way that we recommend that you actually pick your baby up, is to just gently roll your baby onto its side. So you've got your hands underneath its shoulders there, and then what you do is you actually pick them up through their side. This baby's head wouldn't normally do that, okay, wouldn't flop around like that. When you pick your baby up through its side, it's got what we call head righting reflexes, and so your baby's head will just naturally come up. So there's actually no need to support under the head and, you know, support the body and pick the baby up that way, it's like picking up a sack of potatoes. You're not doing anything good to help your baby in that way. And in fact, you're not even really able to support their spine that well in that position. But as soon as you go to pick your baby up through its side, it will just automatically come up. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do just to help development. Right from when they're first born. It's amazing. They are actually born with a head righting reflex. So they actually will do this. The muscles that will actually go up. They can't go forwards and backwards because their head's too heavy and the muscles in their neck aren't strong enough, but the sideways movement they've actually got. Okay, so it's, yeah, amazing. If you have your baby at the martyr, there is something, we can actually go through these positions with you. No, not when you're picking up through the side. So they'll just come up automatically. If I had a real baby, I'd be able to show you properly. But they actually do, except this baby's head's not really doing what I wanted to do here. Normally the head will just come straight up, so it's really good. Okay, another thing is carrying position. So just carrying your baby, you can also promote development. A lot of women, and my kids also were the same, they hated being on their tummy, just cried and carried on. It was just a nightmare putting them on their tummy. But you can encourage, which you do still need to do, you still need to put a little bit of time on their tummy every day. But there are also other things that you can do just to encourage that the head and neck development without actually having them being on their tummy, and that's just carrying position. So one of the best carrying positions, guys, is just over your arm. So you're just taking your baby here and you're just popping it over your arm like that. Okay, so in this position here, they're in a modified prone position, so it's sort of in a modified tummy position. They can actually turn their head and they can actually lift their head up in this position. And that's what you want them to do. You want to start to get that head and neck moving so it gets nice and strong. This is also one of the best settling positions that you can use as well. So again, on the wards, if you're having difficulty settling your baby, after you've had your baby, ask the midwives to give you a bit of a hand, or the physios, and because this is a great settling position as well as a really good position for carrying your baby into. Gives you one hand free as well, so you can talk on your mobile or do whatever you like while you're holding your baby. So another position, really easy one, which everyone tends to use, is just against your tummy. So if you're just laying back on the couch, reclining, you can just pop your baby on your tummy like this, and then they can just get into that, you know, start to lift their head up as well. Okay, so just that position. Up over your shoulder. Now this is a bit of a weird position because it's right up over your shoulder. So normally what we would do is we would hold them here against our body, but we have to hold the whole of their body like this because their head tends to really flop back, and we obviously don't want that to happen. So basically what you need to do is actually get their shoulders right up over, and then what they do is they can actually lift their head up in that position. So they can lift their head up and look around, and that can be another way. Sorry, you don't have to pull on the back of their back. I'm just doing that. But that's what they'll do. That's what they'll do. They'll lift their head up and they can actually look around in that position. This is also a really good position if they've got a lot of wind, because their tummy is against your shoulder, and so it can really help to get any wind out as well. So if you've got a bit of a windy or colicky type of baby, this is a very, very good position. Feels a bit strange though, because they are actually up so high and they're actually sort of hanging over your shoulder. But again, it's a nice, really good position, and it encourages their great development as well. Another position is just over your lap as well. So I can't do that, but yes, you guys can just, yep, so you're just getting them over your lap. So again, there's just lots and lots of ways, you know, that you can do your tummy time with your baby without having to put them on the ground. Although we do still recommend that, you know, for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, a few times a day, that you need to get down on the ground with your baby, always supervised, never leave them unsupervised, and just give them that little bit of tummy time. head and neck development is crucial to normal development. If they don't get that head and neck development early on, it's going to delay their development. So they normally reach normal milestones. You know, they'll start, you know, rolling over onto their tummy at 3 to 4 months. They'll start sitting at 6 to 8 months. They start their crawling, you know, around that time as well, and then walking from around about a year. As a physiotherapist, I have treated many children that have been delayed in their development, and there's nothing wrong with the children. It's just that they haven't been given that stimulating environment in order to actually develop. So they really are held up in those first couple of years of life in getting those milestones. We have got on the MARTA website, there is a baby handling DVD that will go through everything that I've also talked about today. So please refer to that later on as well. Or once you've had your baby, it'll be certainly more relevant once you've had your baby. Okay, and then the other thing too is just looking at baby massage. So baby massage is a really great thing to be doing with your baby. It helps to promote normal development of your baby. When your baby's born, they don't actually realise that all of this belongs to them. So they don't actually realise that their hand is connected to their body. They don't realise that their feet are actually connected to them. And it's not through, like you start to see them, they start sticking their fist in their mouth, they suddenly discovered their hand. They start sticking their feet in their mouths, they suddenly discovered their feet. So for quite a long time, they don't actually realise that all of this actually belongs to them, because they're just still laying down all their motor pathways and their neural pathways. So baby massage, apart from being a lovely bonding time for you and the baby, is also actually part of helping to get a good development of your baby as well. So good to do, obviously, when your baby is nice and quiet and calm. Not a good thing to do when your baby is crying and screaming. You won't ever want to do it again. So just make sure that, like, for example, after they've had a bath and they're nice and warm and relaxed, that's a great time to do baby massage. You want to do it in a nice warm room, and also it should be nice and calm, so not lots of loud noises happening. And basically what you're doing, if I can get you guys with them on their laps, if you want to just gently stroke down from the shoulder and then just straight down to the hips. So you're just sort of stroking straight down. So you're just trying to get that eye contact, and it's nice and it's quite firm pressure. Again, just letting them know that this is actually their body that you're actually touching. You can take one from one side and then stroke diagonally across. What quite often happens is their little legs will raise up. You'll actually elicit a little reflex that causes their legs to move, which is great because that helps to get their tummy muscles nice and strong, which is what they need for crawling. Okay, so that helps the development as well of their muscles. So you can just stroke straight down, you can stroke down the arms. These are really easy babies to be massaging. And then you can actually get into the hands. You're just doing little thumb circles in the hands. Again, as I said, when they're really, really little, they don't realise that their hands are part of them. So talking to them, touching them, that's what it's all about. That's why we sort of instinctively want to touch them, we want to talk to them. So we're actually encouraging their normal development just by doing that. And then you can just get down to their feet as well and just do a little bit of pressure in their feet. You can just gently bend and straighten their legs. Really good if they've got lots of wind. So just doing like a little bit of kicking up with one leg and then the other leg. Both legs together. Again, gets their tummy muscles working. Again, it's giving them a better awareness of their body as well. Then you can pop them over on their tummy. Head on their side. Just won't do that. And again, you can just gently stroke down their back. So with the back, you don't want to be doing a crossover action. You just want to be just going straight down. And just nice and slow. Okay, so that's just a little bit with the baby massage. So just a couple of things, just really quickly to recap with baby handling is when you're picking your baby up, try and pick your baby up through its side. So you've got your hands here, rolling them over to the side and then just straight up like that. You've got certain positions that you can pop them into to encourage normal development. That's over your arm, over your shoulder, and then over your legs. Just give them a bit of time there. These can be invaluable, as I said, particularly if you've got a baby that really doesn't like spending much time on their tummy, you can still really focus a lot and get them to get that head control working just through how you're carrying them and just through how you're handling your babies. And then also you need to be aware of if they've got a preference for one side. So if you're finding that babies, when you put them down to sleep, are always got their head more on one side than the other, you need to look at things in the room that may be causing them to look to that one side, and then change the way your baby's sleeping to get them to look at the other side, or just the way that you pick them up and the way that you carry them. You may want to carry them in this side to get the head going to the other way. Okay, so you're just encouraging that normal movement and rotation of their head. And that's about it all. Does anyone have any questions at all? Yes? They what? They don't need long baths, no. So, I mean, you can still do the massage after the bath. So, baby massage can be started right early on, from as soon as you get home. I've worked a lot in the neonatal intensive care, and with all the preterm babies, that's something that we start quite early on is baby massage, just to try and stimulate their normal development. But yeah, it's more making sure that they're in the right sort of state to massage them. So getting them when they're in a calm state is what you want to be doing with the massage.